if you were talking to the average liberal and you ask them what is a black Trump supporter or what makes for a quote unquote black Trump supporter, you would likely hear answers such as, well, they must be a sellout. They must want to be white. They are obviously somebody who, is uneducated, or they really don't know or understand, or they are an agent of white supremacy, right? Something within the ballpark of one of these answers is what you would hear. The reality is this, however, a black Trump supporter, and I can say maybe since 2016 when Trump first ran for office, a black Trump supporter is a logical thinker. Now, I'm not saying that we are purely and perfectly logical. I am simply saying that we have the capacity and the ability to allow logic to rule over our emotions. Simple as that. Because in 2016 is when the narrative started that Donald Jacques or Django Trump, or John for some, was a racist. This is when that propaganda started to be pushed, right? All of a sudden, they were looking to cut up footage. They were looking to manipulate certain conversations or maybe debate pieces or speeches that he was giving in order to create the perception that this man was a racist, that he was against people of color, quote unquote, peoples of color, right? As the far leftists like to refer to us as. We are colored people again. But yeah, you have a guy like Trump who is now being pinned as a racist, and we're being pushed this propaganda. You as a black person should obviously be warded away from this individual because he is a racist. So you had to be the type of individual who could not only see past the propaganda, but was willing to look through the propaganda, was willing to research for yourself, which is a terrifying prospect when everybody else around you has a different mentality. Like, we got to be real about that. It is terrifying at first. When you first start to step away from the herd, it is uncomfortable. There are elements of, self-doubt, obviously. You're going to feel as if you're abandoning or betraying the people around you. But I think mostly, especially when it came to me, and I can really only speak for myself 100% of the time, is I was afraid of essentially being seen as an outcast, right? What would that mean for me? What would my identity be, etc.? And so you have to be that type of individual to begin with to even look into who this man actually was. What is this man actually saying? And that's how my journey, and many of us, our journeys even started, whether you're black or not, whatever you are, you're just American. Simple as that, right? That's what matters at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, it matters that you're human. That part matters more so than everything else, and all your other identities will stack on top of that, right? You are God's child. You are a human being, right? The image and likeness. That's the foundation of this conversation. And then everything else built on top. You're this, you're an American, you're this, you're that, And obviously now you can put the colors and the genders and all that type of stuff on top if you want to, right? You got about 17 titles, but I digress. So, we started on this journey of going a little deeper. I read a comment recently where a lady was saying, first time I was getting into conservative content, it felt like a kid who had just discovered, corn, right? He was watching something he wasn't supposed to be watching. And, you could damn near had to make sure nobody could see you. You were in the incognito mode on your phone or something like that. It felt dirty, but you knew that you had, you could not stop listening, watching the Matt Walshes, the Candace Owens, the Ben Shapiros, these individuals were a guilty pleasure damn near, but you were somebody who had to, again, look past your emotional affiliations. Well, my mama was this, my daddy was this, my aunt, my grandmama. We just are Democrats. That's what we do. The Democratic plantation had a stronghold upon most of us at some point. Most of us at some point, because it was done like that by design. LBJ with his welfare system, or welfare quote unquote reform, i.e. his new form of mental and emotional slavery, where you would become reliant upon the government. It was engineered in a way where we would just continuously look to the Democratic Party. Oh, I'm a person of color. It didn't matter if you were coming from outside the country, like myself, moving here at 10 years old and becoming naturalized as a citizen, but having the, being raised as an American, as a black American. And so my entire world was just, okay, we're Democrats. That's what we do. Oh, Obama, that's the first black president. Oh my God. Not even questioning the fact that his daddy was, from Ghana. I don't even know or Kenya. I don't even know if his daddy ever lived here or not. right? I don't know, but okay, he's black and they told us he's black and you should be voting for black guys. So here we go, right? I wasn't even able to vote at that time, but I would have voted for him off the basis of just blackness. And again, when Trump comes around, he's the racist. He's the racist. He's an old white man or older white man. He is obviously a racist. I was told, these guys, right? That sit on my desk right now, these two books that I'm in, Thomas Jefferson, Rockefeller, as controversial as a figure as he may be, oh, they're the racists, not even understanding these guys were abolitionists. And that's news to me. But they are old and they're white and therefore they must be racist. Surely that must be the way. And so when you find a black Trump supporter, whether it was 2016, 2020, and even 2024, because remember, this is the demographic who had the highest rate of retention within the Democratic plantation. They say close to 80% of black men stayed on that Democratic plantation, and 93% of the women or 92% of the women stayed on the Democratic plantation. Imagine being so brainwashed that you have these politicians putting twerkers on the stage, on a political stage, mind you, pandering to you. You better thank a union member, doing all kinds of accents, clearly pandering, and they're pandering, creating ethnicities out of thin air. This person has a mother who is 100% Indian, a father who is 100% Jamaican. Now, we don't know what type of Jamaican because they got all types. They got a lot of Indians in Jamaica, a lot of Indians. And her pops said that he was not a black man and would not be considered one and would not consider himself, and said that there were slave owners in his past. So these are the actual facts, right? This ain't no conspiracy. This ain't no allegedly. These are the facts. So all of a sudden, this person is presented to you, and because your allegiance to the Democratic plantation, you end up finding yourself voting for this person who you didn't even know. You didn't even trust. You didn't know who this person was. You damn near knew who Trump was, even if you didn't want to, because the media was always pushing stuff. You just knew a version of him that was given to you, that was presented to you. You knew a propagandized version. And so you bought into that. And some of us, we were bought into a different narrative. We might have been a little more afraid to say something, maybe wouldn't wear the MAGA hat, because back in the day, wearing that red hat would make you a target more so than anything else. Nowadays, you might get some props from, half the people or 60% of the people, and maybe 20% of people look at you crazy. Back in the day, you walk around in that joint, it feels like everybody is eyeing you. Somebody's going to come at you, whatever. Just because you were able or willing to do your own research, your own due diligence. And so the black Trump supporter is an individual who is a free-thinking, quote-unquote, black man, the equivalent of a slave who runs from the plantation, a slave who buys their own freedom, and might come back and tries to rescue him, i.e. Harriet Tubman, and they're looking at her crazy. They're looking at her like, what are you doing? We're comfortable here. You can go all the way back in with the Israelites when they got out of Egypt, right? Oh, man, well, at least back home we had variety in our foods. You were eating slave food. You was a slave. You was a slave. What are you talking about? At least we had options in our food. Oh, we got to eat manna from heaven, man. Food just falling from heaven. Oh, we got to eat this every day. 40 days, you're going to make it in the promised land. But your complaining butt is never going to make it, because you're just so full of complaints. Your generation needs to die, and then the next one needs to come. And unfortunately, that's what we're in right now. I feel like there needs to be a generation that essentially gets washed away, that gets fully cleansed. Because that generation is so fixated on the race thing and so fixated on, woe is us. We are oppressed. Look at what happened. Can't get past it. Can't move past it. Anybody who even talks about getting past and moving past these, again, you go back to Africa. There are people who had just got their independence last week, damn near last week, right? Zimbabwe, my country origin. 1980? 1980 was when apartheid essentially officially ended. And my pops, their generation, they said, okay, we got to, we went through apartheid, but we got to do something different. And they started building. Some people stayed in that mentality and will stay in that mentality maybe for another 100 years, continuously blaming, oh, well, the colonizer did this, the colonizer did that. And I say, okay, I understand. I'm not going to belittle any of these experiences, but when you hold and you cling on to them for dear life and you can't move forward, you can't move past them, you continue to make excuses for them, you're only doing yourself an injustice. People don't feel sorry for you. I know you might think, okay, well, at least I'm going to get some sympathy. You don't get sympathy no more. People show you sympathy in your face, but then they're like, oh, here we go. Move on. Oh, you broke everybody. Like, people are over it. And the faster you do, the faster you can get onto your life. The faster you can stop making excuses in your life, the faster that you can get to the progress part of your life. You can start to build something different. There are black folks who in the 1900s, in the 1800s, were becoming infinitely wealthy within their own environments. Were becoming owners. You understand me? Were building infrastructure. There were black folks who walked off the plantation and became world-renowned speakers, the likes of a Frederick Damn Douglass, in the midst of that democratic abomination known as antebellum slavery. They were black folks who became significantly wealthy during the democratic plantations legislation known as Jim Crow laws. A large number of individuals, because they said the past is behind us, let's move forward. However, at the turn of the damn century, at the midpoint of the damn century, 1965, LBJ, there he is, finessing, pandering, selling y'all on a damn promise of the future where the Big Daddy government is going to make you rich, only for you to become reliant on Big Daddy government and stay broke as hell, to stay on welfare, to stay in Section 8 housing, generational food stamps. You might not even have 3 generations that knew what it was to actually have a real money in your pocket to pay for food. That's the God honest truth. Know what it is like to live outside of the projects. There's no problem being born into the projects, but if you stay there, like they say, you can't choose where you started, but you can choose where you end. You can't choose where you started, but you will choose where you end. So if you end in the very same place you started, that's a choice. I know we don't want to hear that. No, it's the system. It's the government. It's the this one. It's the that one. Okay. Then stay stuck. If you want to continue to look outside for your solutions, stay stuck. So this is what I'm getting to, folks. And again, this is Trump, I believe, is the most powerful thing Trump is, though he is an action taker. And we've seen in the first few days, they said in the first 100 hours, he did more than the last administration in 100 days. Do you understand me? He said, as a matter of fact, more than any modern president did in 100 days, he did in the first 100 hours being in office. The first 4 days, he did more than they did in 100 days. So the man that takes action, I've always known he is a man, he's a workhorse. He's a man and a machine. The man does not sleep. Simple as that. I saw him on his campaign. The man does not sleep. I read Art of the Deal back in 2018-ish. The man does not sleep. Simple as that. He is there to get the damn job done. He respects work ethic. Okay? But beyond that, I see him as a symbol. He represents an ideal. And that aspect is what we also gravitated towards. Okay, put your own first. It's a very simple principle. And a lot of folks on the left would actually agree with this if they weren't so filled with hatred. They say in the plane, you got to put your mask on first, right? We love to talk about self-love and things of that nature. Yeah, put your damn mask on first. America needs to be taken care of first. Americans need to be taken care of first. Why are we sending money over to Ukraine before we're sending it over to North Carolina? Does that make sense? Why are we sending resources over the water before we actually take care of the people here? Does that make sense? Absolutely not. You're a tax-paying citizen in this country, and yet you're being punished for being the person adding to this ecosystem, and the people being rewarded are the ones who are coming here illegally. That pisses people like me off. The ones whose parents and family members or whatever it is had to work 30, 40 years. I now got, second generation cousins and stuff like that being born in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing. But grandmama had to get paperwork for God knows how long just to make sure they could establish themselves. Meanwhile, you got folks waltzing over, criminals, got 57 convictions. These individuals walking over the damn border, ready to commit a damn crime over here. What are we doing? And that person is getting a coupon, a voucher. Oh, here you go. Stay up in that hotel right there. Excuse me? With whose money? Oh, yeah, y'all money. Huh? No, absolutely not. We woke up. And we continue to wake up. And I believe there is a mass exodus taking place. And I'm thankful that I can be one of many voices, a sea of voices and a sea of change in this very time that we're in. There is no time like this. Like, this is a beautiful time to be alive. It seems very chaotic on one side, but that is a rebirth. I believe that is the regeneration of things. when things are taking full circle, the cycle of or circle of life, whatever you may call it, when things are finally getting back to this kind of golden era, this golden age, right? Even as Trump refers to it as, there's first going to be a lot of pain because you got to unweed things. Like go into that garden, you got to pull out weeds, you got to scrape off things that aren't supposed to be there, get rid of the debris, California, get rid of the damn debris, California. So them fires ain't got to be what they once were, okay? You get rid of things that ain't supposed to be there, you clear it off, you make sure that, the bugs ain't about to eat up your garden, and then you start to till the land, till the soil, then you start to plant the seeds. And so we're in that process right now. It's not going to be an overnight experience. There's going to be people try to, oh, well, where's your eggs? Where's your $2 eggs? Oh, where's your $1 butter? Well, first and foremost, y'all spent how long destroying this economy? It's going to take a little bit. But once we get there, we will build for the future sustainably. We did not vote off of emotions. We voted off of this. We did not look at, oh, they got somebody I like up there. Oh, I like Beyonce. I like Beyonce. Yeah, I'm going to vote for that. No. We said, what the hell are you going to do for this country? Oh, you're going to close the border up? Bet. Oh, you did that? Bet. Oh, you're going to do what? Oh, you're actually looking for a multitude of ways we can get our costs down. Okay, you're looking to get into the energy sector. Oh, beautiful. We like that. We definitely like that. Yeah, make sure that we are a dominant force within the energy sector. Yeah, we like that. Greenland, what the hell is Greenland? Oh, because it's actually going to make trade cheaper for us. Okay. Oh, that's what that's about. We like that. Panama Canal, that was actually ours to begin with and we gifted it away, but even though it wasn't a good idea, and now it's making trade routes even cheaper for China instead of us. Oh, okay, you're planning for the future. That's a beautiful thing. I like that. That's what we did. We said we like that. Instead of, oh, well, it's the black woman and we need a black woman to run for president because otherwise if we don't have a black woman, America's racist and sexist and homophobic and misogynistic. Ah, Lord. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, some of us still got to deal with these family members and these types of individuals, but I say pray for them, wish the best for them, but you continue to make your decisions off of logic. Simple as that. What is in front of you, not your emotional appeals. Right? We will all be emotional time in, time out, but when it's all said and done, hopefully we can look at a situation as objectively as possible. Simple.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine, that's